it's time for me to reign and establishing this kingdom on earth, taking charge of worlds of his hands. Holding fast to the faith should obey. I rule on earth. Are we everywhere? Good as wonderful. Good as wonderful. You're listening to Dominion Voice by Pastor Larry Ajanoku.
What of in wealth accumulation? In wealth accumulation, there is need for consistent acceleration. Whatever you are doing on short term, you have to continue to do it on the long term. Rich people do what is right financially, and they continue to do it consistently. While the average, we do what the rich people do seldomly. While the poor people, they don't do it at all. That's what makes the difference. Whatever thing you are doing, when you are accelerated off, you must consistently do it. You must not be distracted. You must not be distracted at all. In wealth accumulation, stay put with speed and direction in the area of what you're doing. Wealth accumulation, we all know, wealth accumulation starts possibly from savings. But if you are very favored, if you are favored to go from a very wealthy family and you have an inheritance, it has given you a head start ahead of your peers. That's what you do with those inheritance that makes a difference. But if you don't have inheritance, then you can first of all save. And then what you do with your savings, convert it to investment. And your return on investment, plow it in, and continue to do it over and over. It will amuse you to know that after about 10 years, you will be amused by the volume that has taken place. You would not even know. It just keeps growing. It keeps going. Wealth accumulation, stay put. Even in debt, increasing debt works against acceleration. So talking about finances. Increasing debt will always bring deceleration into you. And that is something that we all have to know. I know at one time or the other, many of us possibly have had student loan unpaid. So many loans, car loans, mortgage, and all. But that's why next month we'll be looking at that topic, how to be free from debt. I believe everyone wants to be free from debt. I believe everyone wants to be free from debt. We're going to be looking at that. So, if you want to move and accelerate so fast, debt is something that will not allow anyone to accelerate and to move at the rate you ought to move. It's something that will not happen. But next month we'll look at it. What kind of a debt can you as an individual have? We'll look at the types of debt. And then if you're already neck deep in debt, what can you do to get out? We're not going to talk about debt. We're going to be talking of how to be free from debt. How to be free from debt. So that's another one. So in life, we have to know that a scattered or distracted life cannot accelerate adequately. A scattered or distracted life cannot accelerate adequately. Without checking your goals, checking your dreams, checking your aspirations, without checking it from even checking your focus from time to time, you realize that you will begin to decelerate. At the beginning of the year, it's always encouraged, just like we had last year when we are going into this year. We looked at planning and we looked at goal setting. We looked at a lot of issues in planning, and we are all encouraged to go back home and go and set plans for the year 2018. I'm very sure many of us went and we wrote. But you know what? Many times we start off, but now we are approaching the middle of the year. What's happening? Without you going to check your goals, without you going to check your dreams, without you going to check your aspirations, you will realize that you may not get it right. you begin to decelerate. So, a life without adequate preparation will eventually lead to a life of deceleration. And you know what? When you decelerate, you lose steam. You lose steam. And that is not the desire. That's not the desire of God for any one of us. Without checking your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, without checking your focus, you begin to decelerate. Whatever you have written at the beginning of the year, one first assignment I'm going to give to you now, as you get back home, go take your book. And I think I recommended to us that you write it down and paste it beside your wall, where you can see it every day. Go now back and check it out. How many of them have you achieved? Take them out. If you have not achieved a good number of them, then ask yourself the question, what must I do to achieve them? Don't just say it's not possible. Whenever you say it's not possible, you shut down your memory thinking. You shut down your thinking. But when you say, what can I do to get it done? Your mind opens up and options begin to come for you. Don't ever say you can't do it. The Bible says you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. A life that is not fixed with preparation. You realize that when opportunity comes, it is wasted. When opportunity comes, it is wasted. So at every point in time, to consistently continue to be in the place of acceleration, you must be prepared at all times. Your dreams, your goals, your visions must be at your fingertips. Now when the opportunity comes, you will know this opportunity is for me. This one may not be for me. When opportunity comes and you meet with preparation, you can be very sure that result is inevitable. Result is inevitable. When you look into the scriptures, I look into the scripture, I was looking at an example of people who actually had good acceleration. But like two women came to mind as I studied. The example, the first one is the example of the woman called Mary, the mother of Jesus. The very first miracle Jesus Christ was going to do, we could see it came out of acceleration. They went for a marriage and they got to the wedding and it was said, hey, wine is finished. And the woman said, call to Jesus, because Jesus and his disciples were there. Say, hey Jesus, wine is run out. You know what Jesus Christ said? He said, my hour has not come. Which implies, it is not yet time for me to begin to perform miracles. Yeah, you might have seen miracles that I've done at home, because that was what informed Mary to have so much confidence that Jesus Christ could do miracles. So he said, oh, Jesus Christ told Mary, it's not yet time for public miracles. You know what Mary told him? So whatever he tells you to do, do it. And she left. She left. I would say maybe possibly Mary put Jesus Christ in a corner. He just gagged him in the corner. He said, okay, guys, go fill up the jars. And we all know the end of the story. It was not yet time for miracle, for the public miracle. But Mary accelerated the whole thing, the whole process, and she got a miracle. Another that you can see in John chapter 2, verse 4. Another example that comes to mind is Matthew chapter 15, verse 27. Matthew 15, 27. There was this woman whose daughter was grievously ill, and she came to Jesus. She happens to be a Samaritan. And at that time, Jesus Christ was not yet sent to the Samaritans. He was only sent to the Jews. And this woman came to Jesus. My daughter is grievously ill. Please heal her. You know what Jesus Christ said? He said, we can't give the bread that belongs to children to dogs. And the woman said, well, you may say that, but you know what? I'm not going to take no for an answer. The crumbs that drop from the table is enough to heal this child. But before that time, it was clear that Jesus Christ was not sent yet, except to the lost sheep of Israel, to the Jews only. But this woman said, no, I'm going to accelerate this process. Even the miracles are not yet to be given to those who are outside the Jewish custom. But I'm going to take my miracle. She was desperate. She was ready to accelerate, and she did accelerate. We all know the end of the story. She got a miracle. She got the miracle. What am I trying to tell you today? Every one of us listens to the sound of my voice. you can actually accelerate into the future. You can get it done. You can get it done. You may say, oh, that's in the scripture. Let's look at other examples. Some time ago, this man called Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was a governor in California, in the United States, when he was in Austria, because his native nation was actually Austria, and there was a Great Depression at that time, and he was thinking of what to do with his life. So one day, he said he picked the magazine and he saw a bodybuilder, huge, and he looked at it and said, wow, I can actually be this person. Then he went, he told his friends, I want to accelerate. So what do you want to do? He said, I want to be a bodybuilder. I want to be the person that's going to win the world record of being a mature person, strong, huge. And his friends told him, Arnold, go look for something else to do. And they laughed. But he did not listen. He went to the gym, and he would gym 5 hours a day, lift weights, build himself. Eventually, and competed. The rest is story. He won. He won not once, he won several times. Several body weightlifting, bodybuilding competition. Then after he won, he now told his friends again, I want to be a movie star. And they all laughed at him. Arnold, you are pushing your luck too far. Okay, you won this. Can't you even listen to your accent? Even look at your name, very long. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, that name is even too long. Americans won't listen to you. They're not going to listen to you. But he said no. So he went and he began to take lessons. He now began to take lessons. He said he would take lessons, he would read books. He now learned to pronounce the American way. He's an Austrian. And he would pronounce things and pronounce things. And when he told his friends was being a movie star, he said it's not possible. So he said, don't worry. So he began to take classes, English classes. He could speak English very well. That is to say, even if your accent is like mine, don't worry, you can accelerate and get there. You know, when I talk outside, people say, oh, say that again. I say, oh yeah, you have to listen well. And I'll say it again. So if your accent is even like mine, come on, it's not a reason for you not to accelerate. You can actually get there.
Yeah.
And the rest is story today. He went, he said, well, the first one he got a short clip in the movie. And then one led to another, and then to another. Then he acted in a movie called Terminator. And he said, with his Austrian accent that everybody laughed at, in that movie he said one word, I'll be back. So that I'll be back became the hit. That same accent that people said was not going to work was what threw him to the limelight. Yeah. What am I trying to say? When you go to accelerate, whatever people say it's going to work against you, maybe that very thing that's going to shoot you out there.
Right. Yeah. Amen.
Don't ever think that limitation that people want to put on you. Don't accept it. Move on. He became a movie star. And then he said, well, I'm going to be the governor. He said, this guy is pushing it too much. He's pushing his luck too far. Eventually he became the governor in California. I mean, someone that migrated to the United States. Listen to me carefully. There is no limitation to you accelerating. The limitation is only in your mind.
That's right.
And don't allow it. Don't allow it. It's not possible. Don't allow it. Some will say, oh well, what he's talking about? I'm old. I wish I had had this when I was in my 30s. I wish I had had this when I was in my early 40s or in my 40s. It's not the reason. And many of us visit that restaurant, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. The person who started off the company, he started at the age of 65. He had tried several things. He was a salesman, he was an insurance salesman, he was a gas station operator. And then he got this recipe. And he started at the age of 65. When many people will say, oh, I'm going into retirement. As others were going into retirement, he was starting a career. And he got the recipe and made crispy, lovely chicken. You're looking at your husband. Does he like KFC a lot? Now, and at the age of 65, he started off. And it will amuse anyone to know that within 10 years, he sold a lot, over 600 franchises within the US and Canada. And as far as 1964, he sold his interest for $2 million. Talking of KFC. But he started at the age of 65. Your age is not a reason.
That's right.
For you to start. No, it's not a reason. You can actually start. You might have tried several things. But if you know, yeah, I'm going to accelerate in this, keep at it. And you know what? He was doing it, he was making his chicken in a gas station. Just one single spot. Then the government said they're going to take the road off that route. And they opened up a new road. And because they opened up that new road, traffic on the road where he sells his chicken was diverted to somewhere else. And you know what that means? People were not coming in that direction. A lot of people said, oh, I'm going to close up this business. People are not coming. But you know what? That was what prompted him to start looking for different location. And he began to look for different location. So without that road being taken away from that route, he possibly would have stayed in that location. What you think is a disadvantage, when you look very, very well, it is an opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Even in the midst of depression, there is an opportunity in it. A depressed economy, there is an opportunity if you look very closely and very well. So, we all know him. Even long after he's gone, we still talk of KFC today. We still go in there and eat, all because somebody was willing to accelerate and go in the direction. So for you, for myself, what do I need to do to accelerate? To get my acceleration well. Number one, you have to discover yourself. Discover yourself. Know yourself. Identify yourself. There is a flavor that you have. You have to know your customers. You have to know yourself. You have to know who you are sent to. Listen, if you don't know yourself, you cannot know who you are sent to. Peter and Paul, they are two disciples, they are two apostles. Each time Peter, Apostle Peter, each time he went to the Gentiles, he was having problems. And they had to send him back to Jerusalem to go and stay in the church in Jerusalem. But here was Paul, who was coming with the message of grace. But he loved his Jewish brothers so much. Many times he would go to the synagogue. When he gets to a city, he would first of all go to the synagogue to go and talk to his Jewish brothers. You know what they would do to him? They would flog him. They would stone him. They would kick him out. But anytime he went to the Gentiles, they celebrated him. So he had to identify himself. You have to know yourself. You have to identify yourself. You have to know your flavor. You are not sent to everybody. You are sent to a group of people. You are sent specifically to a place. And that's the area where you must accelerate towards.
That's good.
You must identify yourself. Jesus Christ says, who do men say I am? You want to tell me Jesus Christ does not know who he is? He knew exactly. He said, who do men say I am? He knew himself. Without him knowing himself, after he fed 5,000 men, not including children and women, and you know in everywhere, where you have 5,000 men in church, you can bet you will have at least how many women? Maybe 7,000 women. Children? Maybe 10,000 children. So just 5,000 men. After he fed them with 5 loaves and 2 fish, and he was going, they came back to him and said, wow, let's make you our king. You have what it takes to be our king. But Jesus Christ knew himself. A lot of people would have jumped at it, but he didn't jump at it. He walked away from them because he knew He was meant to be the King of Kings. He was not to be a geographical king. He was to be the king of the whole universe, to bring people back to God. You must identify yourself. You must know your skill. You must know what you have for you to be able to accelerate effectively. Secondly, number 2, you must have what we call the force of faith. Force of faith. After you have identified yourself, you must keep that force of faith. You must have faith in yourself that you're going to make it. That you're going to get it right. If you don't have faith in yourself, nobody's going to have faith in you. Nobody's going to have faith in you. You've got to have faith in yourself. You have to have confidence in yourself. That force of faith is there. Keep at it in line with your identity. Keep that force of faith in line with what? Your identity. Don't try to be somebody else. Be yourself. Then have faith in yourself. Have faith you can get it through. Have faith it can be done. Have faith you can achieve it. Have faith in your identity. Don't try to be somebody else. Because when you try to be somebody else, the best you can be is to be number 2. The person you're trying to be is already number 1.
That's right.